Okay, in West Nile, there are three languages. There is, in Arua, the language is called Lukbara. In Koboko, where we work, the language is Kakwa. And in Yumbe, it is Aringa. So, before Yumbe and Koboko districts were created, it was all one district called Arua. And there was one language. It was assumed that everyone in that district is a Lubara, though those two other languages were there. So even the Ministry of Education, when they are developing materials, they only devote materials for Lukbara and for the primary, okay? Because the government is doing work in the what? In the primary. Nobody has ever done any material in Lukbara for the children that are below 6 years. So ideally, there are no materials. Then secondly, much as we say they are materials for Lukbara, those who wrote the materials just wrote it from the way they were speaking the language. The language is Tono. All the three languages are Tono, but the orthography, the way of writing it had not been developed. So last year, we got a language specialist from Kyambogo University, because one of the things that we wanted to do was to see to it that we procure and distribute materials to these communities so that they can start supporting their children to read. So when that specialist reviewed the materials that were available here, most of them were not materials appropriate for use with what? With children. So ideally, even the Lukbara materials that we are talking about are not good materials for children. So they are no materials. So the challenge the ECD caregivers are finding is that they don't have reference materials, okay? They don't have reference materials. They've not learned how to write the language because it's tonal. And those who developed the orthography complicated it by toning the what? The orthography. So if you are not well versed with how to read an orthography and someone gives it to you, you cannot read it. So what they need to do is to go down and train the teachers on how to use the orthography. So those are some of the challenges that ECD teachers are facing.
We encourage them to use local language because children understand best in their mother tongue. At home, they're speaking their language. At school, you begin a second language. So it's hard for a child to just pick up immediately. That's why the thematic curriculum came up with the Ministry of Sports and Education to emphasize on the local language. And the policy passed. So we encourage them to use it. But now the challenge we have, our caregivers, most of our caregivers themselves don't know the language very well. So they can speak, but when it comes to writing, there is still that gap. So they use it as instructional language, but they do write in English. Yeah, some of the things they write in English. That's still the challenge we have.